Good morning, America. How are ya? Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day, living in the freest country in the history of man. Normally, by now, I would have put up another column on Facebook, but the more I've been thinking about it, the more I thought it's time to start talking to each other. So I'll put my face and my words up here and do them through video and see how that goes. So, with that said, today's topic is going to be the lovely collection of government data that's given to us weekly, monthly, depending on your point of view, of unemployment statistics. I love these when these numbers come out. I mean, it's amazing to me to listen and actually people who have a brain take these numbers face value. It's ridiculous. But let's just break it down real easy for everybody. So we're going to do real math here. We're going to do the math that I grew up with. 2 plus 2 equals 4. And that we don't need to spell it out or explain it. It's 2 plus 2 equals 4. Not Common Core math of 2 plus 2 might equal 4. But it depends what state you're in. Now, if you're in Alabama, it could equal 16. But if you're in California, it might equal -5. Yes, that makes absolutely no sense. And I'm being a little bit facetious here because really, if you go through and look at Common Core, you wouldn't be able to get a -16 or a 5 or regardless of whatever numbers I'm throwing around because no one can ever figure out what these guys are talking about. So anyway, I laugh to keep from crying because these things are insane. But my point today is to talk about the numbers of unemployment. Okay? We know roughly, give or take, there's about between 300 to 320 million Americans living in the United States right now. 25% of them, give or take, are children. So we look at about 225 million people. If you factor in another, again, somewhere around 40 million, we probably have people over the age of 65, although a lot of them are working because they have to. So we're going to go off a number of roughly 200 million. 200 million people that are of age living in the United States of America that can work. So we take the 200 million people of age in the United States of America, adults that can work, that should be working, and you factor in the unemployment that the government keeps giving us. They keep telling us roughly 6% of the people out there are unemployed. Okay, so that's 12 million. So just remember that number right there, 12 million people. Now, let's go back to the other numbers that the government keeps feeding us. Right now, on what we call welfare, there's 50 million people. 50 million people on welfare. Now, maybe they're all working, but I doubt it. Okay, so, but I'm not finished. 50 million people on welfare, remember that number. Then we're going to go to long-term unemployment, or excuse me, long-term disability. People that just simply, for whatever reason, cannot work. Those numbers will vary back and forth. It can go between anywhere from 15 to 20 million, but we're just going to take 15. We're going to be conservative with the numbers here. So you have 50 million on welfare, 15 on long-term disability. That's 65 million. In this country right now, we have over 7 million people that are incarcerated. Okay? It's unlikely they're working. So 65 plus, it's a little over 7. We'll just call it 7. So now we're sitting here at 72 million. For those Common Core followers, that could be 120 million, but we'll just go with the regular math that I grew up with. So we're looking right now at 72 million people. 72 million people right now that are either on welfare. These are government numbers. Okay? Either on welfare, long-term disability, or are incarcerated right now. 72 million people. Big number. Now you factor in the government's number of 6%, you add your 12 million on top of that, we're now at 84 million people who are either on welfare, long-term disability, incarcerated, or receiving an unemployment check. 84 million people. Now, what I have... oh my goodness. I mean, this is utterly ridiculous to sit here and talk about 6% unemployment. But it was pointed out to me that, well, quite possibly some of this is fraud. Fraud. Oh, well, that makes it a lot better. I guess we're just sending checks to all the people that really don't need it, so maybe unemployment is down that low. Come on. Seriously? Seriously. That's what we're going to say. We're going to say it's fraud. That's okay, so unemployment really is down. Now, Ridiculous. But we'll factor in for fraud, and we'll even factor in for the overlap. We'll say some people are on long-term disability, are incarcerated, and getting welfare. Because believe it or not, some of these things actually do occur. They do. There are people sitting in prison or county jail right now who are collecting welfare. Yeah. I mean, they don't have any, other than they're in there because they abused other people. We are giving them 3 hots in a cot, but apparently that's not enough. They're going to need that welfare money to make sure that they can, get the cantina or whatever it is. Again, I laugh to cover my anger. This is pathetic. And we're better than this. But let's go back to the number. 200 million people that should be working. 80, we'll just call it 80. 80 million people right now that are either on welfare, long-term disability, incarcerated, or long-term unemployment benefits. 80 million people. Okay? We'll just be nice. We'll just be nice and cut that number in half. We'll just say, even though there's no way to do that, okay, we'll just say that there's fraud and there's overlay, and frankly, the government doesn't care about these people anyway, so we'll just say they don't even exist. Good. That's horrible, but that's even better because the government doesn't care. They really, really don't. So we'll take the 80 million people that we know right now, us taxpayers are paying some kind of check to, or taking care of, or doing something so that they can have water, food, shelter. And we'll take it down to 40 million. Just take it to 40 million. So there's 200 million adults that should be working. 40 million of them aren't. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, that isn't 6%. It's 20%. And I just basically took off half just to make a point, because that number's probably closer to 80, maybe even 85 for what we know out there, than it is to 40. So that would put us closer to 40% unemployment. So all of you people out there that think unemployment's coming down and the stock market's going up, seriously, stop doing the Common Core math. Just do the real simple stuff that we all grew up with. 2 plus 2 actually does equal 4. And when 200 million people need to be working and 80 million of them aren't, that doesn't equal 6%. It's not even close. Now, we can keep walking down this road. Pretty soon that number will go to 100 million. It might even be there already. 120. The incarceration rate will go up, and the problems will continue. Or we can actually make a difference. We can try something new. We can say, yeah, you know what? It's the United States of America. We're not putting up with this anymore. It's up to us. What do you want to do? I have one more thought, aside from the lovely mathematics that was just explained. Right now, sitting in a Mexican prison is a young man who served this country. His name's Andrew Tamarisi. He's down there because he made a wrong turn. We have over 20 million people in this country that are making wrong turns. We provide them food and shelter and let them run around the country, sometimes doing illegal things. We have one Marine in Mexico because he made a wrong turn. I don't know about you, let me say this to you, Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, John Boehner. Eventually, somebody like me is going to be in charge. And eventually, you better hope and pray that Andrew Tamarisi comes home. But someone like me, we're not going to forget. And we're going to talk to that young man who served this country, who put his life on the line. And we're going to find out what happened to him down there. And when people who love this country are back in charge, and we find out the things that happened to that young man, crimes that were committed against that young man, things that you have allowed to happen, you're going to be held accountable for that. So look at my face. Look into my eyes. We're done with you. Get him out now.